at the 10, still on its feet, 5. Kendra Miller takes it in for the touchdown. Intercepted by Jonas Sanker at the 47-yard line. Cam Jordan for the sack. Gonna go down again. Carl Granderson gets sack number 4.5.
Welcome to Saints All Access, presented by Microsoft Copilot PC, right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm Erin Summers. The Saints may not have come away with the win in Buffalo, falling to the Bills 31-19, but there were still some encouraging signs to build on. After the game, Coach Moore and players spoke about the fight the team showed, the lessons learned, and how they plan to bounce back even stronger. Let's take a look at the highlights and hear from the team as they look ahead.
It's a really good football team. That team's going to play late into this season. We put ourselves in position, felt like we were competing, we were playing the right way, and we just came up short. They got some really good players that made some plays, and we missed our opportunities when we had them. We got to just keep on going. We got to keep going. We got to keep battling.
You know, we had opportunities. Thought we played much better than last week. Obviously, it's a really good team, and there was a few moments in that game where we could have taken it over, and it doesn't always go your way. So credit to them, they played well.
Spence used his legs a couple times. Kendra and Alvin, both those guys just ran really, really hard.
Kendra ran the ball well. AK ran the ball well. The run game was definitely there today. So that's a good feeling.
And it's not even about me or Kendra. It's really things that our O-line is good at. We got to have good guys up front that can move. Just getting them doing some things that they're comfortable with doing. I think that's what kind of gave us the edge in our run game today.
It's very frustrating, I think, for all of our guys to feel like you're that close, and while there are positives within this, the ultimate goal has yet to be achieved in the game, and so we're striving for that, and we need to get there.
We got to be more disciplined. There's 13 opportunities left, starting with next week. The faster we can get home, the faster we can get the film breakdown, the faster we can get better.
It's frustrating, because we know who we are, we know what we can be, and there's 13 more games left to show that. So whatever happens going forward, we're just going to keep working, keep building, and keep progressing.
We're joined now by Saints defensive pass game coordinator Terry Joseph. Terry, you're coming out of a game against Buffalo where you have a rookie that picks off Josh Allen for the first time this season in Jonas Sanker. What did you see from him in that moment?
Well, really, it was a great play by him. A lot of things that we've been working on probably since training camp. I thought he had great depth. He had a great read off the quarterback, and more importantly, he got a break right before the ball came out of Josh's hand. And then one thing that Jonas has shown throughout his time here is that he has range. So to see him go make the play and have some success, I was really excited for him. But it's a testament to all the hard work that he's put in.
He is a rookie and got thrown into elevated play because of injury ahead of him. What have you seen from him in the way that he stepped up?
Well, I've seen a guy who's been resilient. He came in as a draft pick. Obviously, we signed Blackman. Blackman got hurt, and then all of a sudden now he's thrown into the fire. But I think it really helps us having the veteran guys on defense. Mm-hmm. From Justin Reed to DeMario to Cam, they all kind of took him under their wing and kind of helped him navigate the situation that he's in, and he's responded well. There's some things that you're going to learn on the run, mm-hmm. but I'm really happy where he's at, and I think he's going to get a lot better.
Another rookie and cornerback Quincy Riley got put into the game mid-second quarter in Buffalo, played the rest of the way. He had that forced fumble in Seattle, showed an ability out there on the field and earned him some more playing time. What have you liked about him?
With Quincy, you have a ball heart. This guy finds the ball. I think he probably led our team in interceptions during training camp. He's always around the ball, and so guys like that can always find their way onto the field. And playing defense in the NFL in 2025, getting turnovers is something that's very important. And Quincy, with his ball awareness, is something that we're going to need down the stretch.
You had two rookies so far contributing to forcing those takeaways on the defensive end. When you look at this upcoming game against the Giants, you have quarterback Jackson Dart, who has only had one full game of play. When you start looking through the tape, what are the first things that you need to glean from just such a small sample size?
Yeah, he's a guy who's confident in his ability. You can see in the last game they kind of changed the offense to fit more of his playing style. So we do have a small sample, but fortunately for us, between me and Bo Davis, we've seen him before because of our college background, so we know what he's capable of. And so also with the running back, Cam, number 44, we've seen him in college, so we have that previous experience that we can relay to our staff and the players of what to expect from the two main cogs of their offense. So it's going to be an interesting game, but at the end of the day, we have to play Saints football. And defensively for us, that's playing smart, that's playing fast and playing physical, and like you alluded to early, creating some turnovers.
When you look at Dart, you said you have a lot of experience in seeing him play. What are some of the strengths that you're hoping to take away?
Well, first of all, we have to keep him in the pocket because he's a guy who can make some plays with his legs. And so we want to keep him in the pocket and make him play from the pocket. And then hopefully, you know, with Grando and Cam and Double D, we can get after him with the pass rush and have to make him throw the ball in tight windows. But, you know, he wants to play in space. He wants to have the RPO options available to him. So we have to make him play. We have to dictate the pace of the game. And I think that's going to be ultra important for us.
When you start to see those alerts from the quarterback, things that are obvious tells in the offense and let you know what's about to happen, who on the field for us defensively is calling those out during the game?
Yeah, I think, you know, one thing to be successful in our defense, you have to have a high football IQ. So I think when things like that happen, you start looking at DeMario, you start looking at Pete Warner, Justin Reed, and some of the guys who played a lot of football where they can lean on their experience to make those calls. I think for a guy like Quincy, a guy like Jonas, who are still learning, it'll be hard for them to make those adjustments. So we lean on a veteran leadership to kind of get us through those scenarios. In the cornerback room, how have you seen Alontae Taylor grow here, maybe into more of a leadership role, being one of the older ones in that room? Yeah, I think Alontae's done a great job. I think it's one of the hardest things that he really has to do because, you know, playing star, then bouncing back out to corner, the mindset's totally different. So just to see him mature and be able to, first of all, come back from the injury that he had, but also navigate, hey, I'm outside, then I'm inside, I'm a blitzer, now I'm playing man on the outside. And it's really a testament to the type of guy that he is because his leadership through good and bad has been really good the early part of the season. What has been the biggest area of growth for this defense in the first month? Well, I think we're starting to get a feel for how we all fit. Certain calls, certain plays. I think early on, it's a new scheme, and yeah, you can go through training camp and you can have all these practices. But when the bullets start flying, that's when the adjustments and the on-the-field decisions have to be made. And I think in the last few weeks, we've grown in that way that we've kind of understanding he's going to be here, I have to be there. And I think as we continue to play these guys together, they're going to continue to grow and we're going to eventually get the results that we want. But as coaches, we always talk about process, doing things right over and over again, and then eventually we'll get the results that we want. There has to be some confidence built after the way that the team played in Buffalo. There's no doubt, you know, you're playing a Hall of Fame quarterback, multiple MVP winner, a big time running back. And, you know, obviously Vegas said we had no chance. And then to go in there and really have a legitimate chance to win a game late in the game and really play toe to toe with those guys, it does give us confidence. And so I think taking that game and moving on to the next one and throughout the season, that game is really going to end up helping us as we move forward. Thank you so much for the time. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk to Stan Verrett and get his recipe for success to get that win over the Giants.
Saints bring some pressure. Allen throws it deep down the right sideline this time, and that's going to be intercepted by Jonas Sanker at the 47-yard line.
Welcome to the Expert Analysis. I am John DeShazier, and this is the Week 5 edition. A difficult game for the Saints on the road at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York against the Buffalo Bills. A 31-19 loss on Sunday. However, Saints made several very good plays in this game, and here is a really good defensive play that we're going to give you for the Expert Analysis here today. Now here's the situation. Buffalo's offense is 3rd and 11 at its own 12-yard line. 12:52 left in the second quarter, and the Saints trail 14-7. Principal guys you want to watch here. Here's Saints rookie safety Jonas Sanker. Here's cornerback Isaac Yedem. and here's Bills receiver Keon Coleman, a Louisiana native, by the way. Now, the guys you want to pay attention to up front, right here, this is Nathan Shepard. This is Brian Brzee, and he and Shepard are going to run a little bit of game. This is Mario Davis, linebacker, but he's going to bail out. So you really won't have to worry about him on this play. But let's let it go a little bit. And Josh Allen is going to take the snap, the 2024 MVP of the NFL. We're going to freeze it right here. Right here, Coleman has the advantage against Yedem. And fortunately, Sanker is watching the quarterback's eyes. So he sees what's happening. But we're going to get some pressure here. Let's let it go. Freeze right here. Allen can't step up into the throw because Nathan Shepard is at the bottom of his feet. So he can't step into this. But even now, there's an advantage for Keon Coleman against Isaac Yedem. What's going to bail him out? His teammate. And you watch the ground that Sanker covers to pick up his first interception. Let's let it go. The rookie ranges over. He picks this one off. Great play. And that's actually his second consecutive pass breakup because he broke one up on the other side of the field on the previous play. So he's got great range. He ended up with 3 pass breakups and the interception in this game. Jonas Sanker has a wonderful game for the rookie. But here we're going to show you again from another angle because you'll get a better look at the range he displays from behind the Saints defense. You get the press coverage up here by Yedem, but he's going to be covered by his teammate, the rookie safety, because he needs to have that range behind him because otherwise he's going to get beat for a touchdown on this. And Jonas Sanker basically saves the defense on this play. Again, you get the good push up front from Nathan Shepard to get at Josh Allen's feet, does not allow him to step into the throw, and that allows Sanker to cover the ground. Let's go. And Sanker basically starts at his 29-yard line. He's going to intercept this at the 49 on the opposite side of the field, and look at the range. Great play by the rookie, his first career interception. The first interception thrown by Josh Allen this season. He had an MVP season last year. He's en route to maybe challenge for the MVP this year, but on this play, the Saints contain him, and that is your expert analysis.
I'm joined now by Rod Walker, sports columnist for the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
We are going to preview the Giants matchup. It's a Week 5 game. They're coming off a big win over the Chargers. Quarterback Jackson Dart got his first career start, rolling in with some confidence, I'm sure. How can the Saints disrupt him?
I think a big thing for Jackson Dart is this will be his first road game, and I think if the dome can kind of, if it's loud like it should be, I think that'll be something different for him to deal with. I mean, he was at home last week in his debut, but he was effective. I mean, he didn't, he took care of the ball for the most part and didn't put up a lot of yards, but he was able to do some things with both his arms and his legs, and so the Saints are gonna have to contain that. But they did pressure him a lot. He was sacked 5 times. They sacked Russell Wilson 1 time in that game. So you can get to the quarterback when you're playing the Giants. I think the Saints will have to do that. And they were able to do that against Buffalo on Sunday. I mean, they got to Josh Allen 3 times. He had only been sacked 4 times coming to the game. So I think the Saints pass rush can really be disruptive and cause Jackson Dart some problems.
When they are attacking quarterback Jackson Dart, you're going to try to put pressure on him to eliminate those options downfield. One of the options that's not going to be there is wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who suffered an ACL injury in their last game. Who are those threats in the receiving game?
I think it starts with Darius Slayton. I mean, he's a guy that's, he's been in the league and he's pretty good. And then you got Wan'Dale Robinson, who's really good at yards after the catch. So, I mean, the Saints are going to have to be really tuned in on their tackling, which was the issue last week against Buffalo. They missed a tackle on that open drive and Buffalo scored. So I think the Saints are going to really have to do a good job of just making sure they bring the guys down once they do get to them. So, yeah.
Improving the run defense has been a big focus for the Saints team this year. You have the rookie running back in Cam Skadaboo, who has just taken the league by storm with his attitude. He goes for 79 yards on the ground in the last game. What can the Saints do to contain him?
The funny thing about Cam Skadaboo is I didn't know who he was like maybe a year ago. And I went to Mississippi State, and they played Mississippi State the second game of the season last year. And he ran for 262 yards. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And he's really just really blossomed and been a really effective rookie. And so the Saints are going to really have to do a good job of stopping the run. And he doesn't really pop a lot of long runs off. He just kind of just grind. He's not even averaging 4 yards a carry. But he can be a really effective running back. He won't be as tough as James Cook was for for Buffalo. So, I mean, he's like one of the shiftiest guys you'll see. But Scatterbo kind of runs different, and but the Saints have to contain him. I mean, that has to be your game plan coming in. Stop him and make Jackson Dart have to beat you. If you do that, I think you'll be fine.
On the other side, the Saints were able to establish their run game for maybe the first time this season, 189 yards against Buffalo. Used a variety of pieces there. Buffalo was last in the league in run defense. The Giants are third to last in the league. How can the Saints keep that production going?
I think the key for the Saints is to cut down on the penalties, because once you do that, you're staying out of second and long and third and long, and you can run the ball. And the Saints were able to do that against Buffalo. They didn't have any. They only had 4 penalties, and I think just one of those was on the offense. So they were able to stay out of those long situations. So if they can do that and get Alvin Kamara and Kendre Miller going, I mean, I think they'll be fine. Kendre had his best game as a pro, and he just runs. So everybody always talk about how angry he runs, and that's kind of how he was in that game. So I think the Saints, I think that'll be their game plan going in, try to establish a run, just pick up where they left off last week. If they can do that, I think they have a really good shot at getting Kellen Moore his first victory.
Is it weird seeing a running back duo back here again?
Yeah, that's good to see. It's like Kamara and Mark Ingram back in the day, and so I've been telling people I thought Kendre would have a really good season. I know he had struggled those first 2 years battling injuries, but I thought this year would be a little different for him, and so far so good.
The defensive line for the Giants has been a strength of theirs. With the Saints offensive line, again, dealing with injuries here, Cesar Ruiz going to be out for this one. What is the key to the line having success?
I think the main key would be stopping Abdul Carter. He was the number 3 overall pick in the draft for the Giants out of Penn State, and he did a really good job last week. He had 8 pressures against Justin Herbert for the Chargers. So I mean, he didn't get any sacks, but he was definitely disruptive. So the Saints are going to have to contain him. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, who played with the Carolina Panthers, who the Saints are very familiar with. He spent 5 or 6 years there before going to the Giants. So they're going to have to contain all those guys. And again, if they can run the ball, I don't think the pressure will be that much of a problem.
You mentioned penalties earlier, and a lot of them were on special teams for the Saints. What can they do to continue to improve in that area of the game?
Well, I think it was good to see Blake Grupe get back on track as far as field goals. He made 2 after he had missed 1 in every game, but he didn't miss any in this one for the first time this season. So that was good to see. Something they're going to have to. This is the second penalty he's had for not kicking the kickoff into the landing zone and give the team the ball at the 40-yard lines. I mean, you can't do that against teams like that. I mean, you can't give them that much field position. So to me, that's going to be the key. And obviously, rushing the roughing the punter penalty on Nephi Sewell kind of sealed the game Sunday. So I mean, you can't do that. But I do like the aggressiveness of trying to block the punt. But you just got to be disciplined enough not to run into them if you don't get your hand on the ball.
You were in Buffalo, being around this team this season. Mentally, where are they at, even though they have started 0-4?
It's pretty interesting to see, because in the locker room after the game, you wouldn't know they were 0-4. Like, they're still, I think they feel like they're right there, and that's what you want to see. I mean, Kellen Moore hadn't lost a team. I mean, he's only 4 games in, but I do think this game Sunday is very important for this team. So I think if you go to 0-5 and you lose to a team that with a rookie quarterback, I think the morale could fall a little bit. So I think it's not a must win, but I think they do need to win it.
How key is the dome field advantage going to be in this one?
I think it.
We need the fans to bring it.
If the fans bring it, I think it'd be a huge advantage. I mean, rookie quarterbacks it's kind of a tough spot for a rookie to come into the dome when it's really rocking. So if they can do that, I mean, it'll make things really hard for Jackson Dart, because it'll be something he's never experienced before. So I think that's really key. So if the fans come out and keep their tickets and all that stuff, it'd be good.
No, you heard it. You got to show up. Black and gold, we need you for this one Sunday against the Giants. Thank you so much, Rod, for joining me. On the other side of this break, we're going to get Stan Verrett's recipe for success to get that dub in the Dome on Sunday. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this timeout. Welcome back to Saints All Access, presented by Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. I'm Erin Summers, right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Week 5 is here. Stan Verrett is cooking up the recipe for success for a Saints win against the New York Giants.
The Saints back at home this week, taking on the Giants at Caesars Superdome. Let's talk about the recipe for success for that game. It has to begin with a fast start. The Saints have scored just 7 points in the first quarter so far through 4 games. That's tied for the second fewest in the NFL. They did score in their opening drive last week against Buffalo, so that's a good sign. That touchdown tied the game, but it'd be great to see the Saints get off to an early lead this week. Help them settle into the game and take pressure off all three phases as the game develops. Secondly, the Saints need to run the ball, which they did effectively last week against Buffalo. We may have seen them begin to establish their identity in Kellen Moore's offense last week. The Saints ran for 189 yards against the Bills. That was the third best total across the NFL in Week 4. Alvin Kamara led the way with 70 yards, and Kendre Miller had maybe his best game as a Saint with 11 carries for 65 yards. Saints averaged 5.6 yards per carry on the ground against Buffalo. Spencer Rattler also helped out with his scrambling ability. He turned broken plays into first downs and helped extend some drives with his legs. The strength of the Giants' defense is their pass rush with Kayvon Thibodeau, number 3 overall pick Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns. They are successful rushing off the edge, so the Saints have to avoid obvious passing situations and keep Spencer Rattler clean in the passing game. Burns is tied for the NFL lead in sacks with 5 so far this season. When the Giants have the ball, the Saints have to be able to stop the run. Jackson Dart led the Giants to their first win in his first NFL start last week, but this week he won't have his top target, wide receiver Malik Neighbors. Neighbors tore his ACL last week against the Chargers. So expect the Giants to lean heavily on the run, just like the Saints may do this week. Cam Scatterboo, their rookie running back, is a physical runner who does have some explosiveness if he gets into the open field. Dart also has some mobility. He ran for a touchdown and ran the ball 10 times for 54 yards against the Chargers last week. So the Saints have to keep an eye on him when plays break down. But if they can do all three of those things, Saints could find themselves in the win column for the first time this season against the Giants on Sunday. Erin, back to you.
When he's not nailing field goals for the black and gold, Saints kicker Blake Grupe is soaking in the sights of South Louisiana. On his latest trip around the Gulf, he traded the gridiron for the great outdoors, climbing aboard for a swamp tour to experience the wildlife, waterways, and culture that make this region so unique. Let's ride along with Blake as he takes us deep into Louisiana's backyard.
What up, guys? Blake Grupe here. We're in Marrero with Toyota Trips Around the Gulf. We're gonna go out in the swamp with New Orleans Airboat Tours today.
But it's the only wild bird that we can hand feed like this. Now they eat vegetation, insects, fruit. Don't know what kind of fruit, the marshmallow works. The black ones, they got that red dot and the red looking beak. Well, they got that blue dot with the red looking beak.
Yeah, those are awesome looking.
And I think them right here have babies right now. Saturday and Sunday, they would not come out to the boats at all. They may only grow an inch or two for the whole year.
You mad at me?
And some are like people. They do grow quicker than others. I know I didn't say it. They can live anywhere from 70 to over 100 years. And they say a gator that lives that long will go through 1,500 to 2,000 teeth in a lifetime. All right, if you want to hold it, I'll show you what to do.
Thank you for the tour, Kelly.
Thank you for coming, man. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Thank you guys for following along. See y'all next time.
The New Orleans Saints and Venture Global had Plaquemines Parish rocking with a full set of high school football activations. The day kicked off with football celebrations at South Plaquemines High and Belle Chase High, where each school received a $10,000 donation and plenty of giveaways, all capped off with a high-energy performance from the Saints cheer crew. Then the spotlight shifted to Under the Lights at Belle Chase Stadium for the sold-out showdown between the Belle Chase and South Plaquemines. Saints legends Ricky Jackson and Devery Henderson were front and center for the coin toss, photos, and to fire up the crowd. From start to finish, it was more than just a football game. It was a celebration of community pride, youth athletics, and the future of Louisiana football. That wraps up another edition of Saints All Access presented by Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. We're getting ready to gear up for another big black and gold showdown in the Superdome on Sunday against the Giants. Stick with us on NewOrleansSaints.com or across all of our social media platforms for the latest info you need to get ready for the game. We'll see you next week on another episode of Saints All Access right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network.